Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pro Strength Day 55. So, if you notice any dropping quality of the video over the next few days, it's because the lens for my camera stopped working. So, I've had to buy a new one, which are gonna arrive at May 22 latest because I ordered over eBay for a bit cheaper. But anyways, I recorded the good mornings and the Nordic curls, and then I did some sled work because every fifth week on the max effort day, this was Saturday last week, I skipped the max effort just to let my central nervous system recover a little bit. Even if I don't feel extremely tired or have any aches and pain, it's still a good idea to get a bit ahead of time and make sure nothing bad happens. So the good mornings, I did 6 sets of 3 and 1 set of 6 with 87.5 kg, and it still feels extremely easy. Like I'm confident I can get up to 10 reps with 100 kg. It's just about keeping the screw in the water and just moving very slightly over time, not making any stupid decisions, just following this 2.5 kg progression every third week, and that should be easy for my body to keep up with. I suspect that if I'm gonna get up to 6 reps with 95 kg because before it gets somewhat hard. And I mean, it's gonna be exciting when I get past my own body weight in terms of weight on the bar, because that is when I think I'll really be able to tell like how hard this stuff actually is with so much weight out on the back. Like I've never used more than my own body weight on the stiff leg good morning before, and I have heard a lot of people say that it is not possible. So that is my whole reason for wanting to get up to 10 reps with 100 kg. And also, I just believe that if I can do that, then I'm going to be able to deadlift 300 kg, because when I did 8 with 80 kg, I could basically deadlift 240 kg. So if I can get up to around 8 to 10 with 100 kg, I should have 300 kg guaranteed in the deadlift. And that's crazy considering I just never deadlift like at all. So I also did Nordic curls, and this was a huge volume PR. I managed to get 3 sets of 8. So these were extremely hard. And they always continue to be. The focus is the same that it's always been, to try and keep the body as extended as possible. So avoid the glutes shooting up before the hips. And still something that I'm missing. So maybe it's a good idea at some point for me just to use a very heavy band where it's gonna take a lot of weight off, so I can have my glutes totally extended. Or another idea that I'm having is that I could work on hip thrusts eventually, because as you know, those are hardest in the shortened position. So when I'm extending the hips, unlike like stuff like good mornings and such, even though they train the glutes, it's more in the lengthened position that is hardest. Like it's easy when you're extending the same with Romanian deadlifts, but when you're doing hip thrusts, they're gonna be hardest in the position where I have to log out. So it should give a good carryover to the position that I need in Nordic curls, and it's something that I've never trained before. So that's definitely a possibility that I'm lacking strength in that exact position. And what also just happens over time, which is pretty naturally during the Nordic curls, is that the last few reps they end up being more like just doing the curl and then extending the hips. So more like a bent hip Nordic, and then like extending the hip like in a harrop curl. Actually, it would be exciting to see like how strong I am at bent hip Nordics now. That I can do like 3 sets of 8, like decent good mornings. But I always have to remind myself like when I'm being um, critical about myself on these good mornings, that just a year ago I had no business even doing anywhere close to a good morning, not a good morning to a Nordic. I had no business doing like just one Nordic. I was doing like the stuff I'm doing now for reps. I was doing with like a 20 kg help from an elastic band. So it's crazy how much stronger my Nordics have become in such a short amount of time. So no matter how critical I am of how my Nordics look, that I'm not satisfied with how the way they are. It's just me trying to be a perfectionist, which I think it should always be. Is something that I always talk about on here. Make Making the small adjustments to try and improve constantly. It's not because I'm a science nerd. Those of you that follow me know I fucking hate the science and all the optimal bias stuff. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to train with what I believe is going to be perfect form and targeting the right muscles during the exercise, like not letting the hips rise first in the squat or in deadlift, trying to keep the back as extended as possible in the good mornings, shooting the hips back for as long as possible. There's so many people that are fine with having less than optimal form, even though they could change small bits that would make a difference in their training, and it carries over to basically everything that they do. Um, so I try to just be like that in every part of my life, always trying to optimize with my diet, with the work I do, my job, yeah, what I can do to improve here on YouTube with the quality of the videos or whatever. And I think it's something that should always be on your mind. And I can definitely feel like when the exercise really clicks and the form is good. Like for example, with the good mornings that I did last week at my dad's home gym, basement gym, I could feel like with the slow tempo at and bringing the hips back for as long as I could, basically until they were like my hips big kept going back basically until almost my back were completely horizontal, just because I kept focusing on it getting much weight as possible all the way back on my hips, back on my heels. And I see a huge amount of people performing RDLs where they think they have a really good form, but when you look at the hips, they basically stop going back like halfway down in the range of motion that they're using, and rest of the motion that's actually more like folding. Um, and also just in general, people performing RDLs, they just don't have a lot of range of motion because they're like, oh, my lower back is gonna round if I go deeper. I don't have more range of motion back in my hip joint. But if I see someone like Devin Kelly on Instagram performing Romanian deadlifts, I can see that he's able to go basically like horizontal, and his hips just keep going back and back and back and back and fucking back all the way to the back of the room without his back changing position basically. So that is what I'm trying to replicate. And I'm also able to do it in my good mornings. So I know that it is gonna be no different for most of you, which is why it's something that you should definitely focus on. Alright, so that is all for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, remember to leave a like, comment, share it with a friend, and subscribe. See you all next time.